We have a mantra in our business that we want to force our clients to be successful. So we're always, tuning in and filtering through and focusing on what can we do to overservice our clients.
Welcome to the Marketing Expedition Podcast, an auditory journey through the latest in marketing, branding, and advertising. Now, here's your Marketing Expedition guide, Ray Allen.
On this week's episode of the Marketing Expedition Podcast, I get to speak with Maxwell Nee, and he's the Chief Revenue Officer of ScoreApp, a quiz marketing platform with now over 7,000 paying clients. He's also a multi-award-winning entrepreneur, bodybuilder, and dancer, and he's been featured in TV, radio, Forbes, Singapore's The Business Times, and the Australian Business Review. And we are going to cover all things quiz marketing, funnel-related, lead generation, AI-enabled tools, all kinds of fun things for how we can convert these leads and lead magnets into new business for our listeners. So let's get to it. But first, it's time for our Marketing Essentials moment, the basics that you need to help you continue to build your brand and your bottom line. All right, today we are wrapping up the 8-part series that I have done on the importance of advertising, the benefits of advertising, the components that you need in order to make sure that your advertising is going to be highly effective. We talked about budgeting, we talked about primary and secondary research, we talked about all of the components, and now I'm going to basically wrap it up for you here and think about the common elements that will help you deliver the message to the right audience at the right time, at the right place, the right amount of money, and the visuals that you're going to use, the images, the tonality, all of the things that, and by the way, if you haven't listened to the last 8 episodes, you're needing to go back and listen to that, but I'll just kind of give you a brief overview here. So considering the emotions and the types of messaging that you can use to either persuade or remind people or just bring them top of mind awareness, right? Educate them. And thinking about the style and the look and feel that you want to be conveyed, the tonality, and all of those types of things that you want to consider as you're going through this entire process and how you're going to spend your money in the best ways that you're going to spend it. And of course, thinking about the different types of platforms that you're going to use, whether it's the headline or the byline, or if it's, commercial, or if you are doing print ads, if it's a subheading or a breakout box or a call to action or the copy that you're going to use, the elements that you're going to incorporate into your advertising. And of course, the different platforms and specs and sizes, all of those things that you're going to incorporate into your media mix that are ideally moving the needle forward, right? Making sure that you are spending money where it needs to be spent, and then testing the messaging. This is so critical. And really, I want to spend some time on measurement. And, I always say, measure what you treasure, dump what you don't, automate what you hate, and delegate to elevate. Anyway, when you think about the investment that you are going to make in your marketing and the types of advertising that you're going to do, go back and look to see what really worked and what did not. What worked in the entire creative facilitation of the entire process that you went through? How did it come to be that that's what you used and how it was used and what interests that you sent your message to? All of the things that are happening with your target audience, measure it, right? Measure what we treasure. Dump what doesn't work, right? Omit what does not work, and don't spend time and money and energy and effort on something that is not proven to work anymore. And what might have worked yesterday may not work tomorrow or next quarter or next year, right? So continuously measuring and testing and understanding your audience more and more, doing those follow-up surveys, looking to see what things are getting clicked on, what kinds of things are converting, what kind of messages are resonating, and gauge the impact of your advertising, and conduct more tests and pre-tests and post-tests of all of the things that you have incorporated into your marketing strategy and plan. And if you've worked with an agency, work closely with them to understand and share and communicate. Here's the things that have worked. Here's what hasn't worked and why. And this is what we could do differently or better. And continuously decreasing the amount of money you're spending to acquire new customers, but increasing the lifetime value of those customers on a regular basis, or increasing the amount of money that they spend if you're a one-time, one-hit wonder purchase, right? Looking at all of those things that you can measure anything and everything that you can possibly measure, because those are going to be your key indicators, right? Your key performance indicators, or kept promise indicators, I like to call them. And ideally, the advertising is going to generate more revenue. And so then looking at what more you're going to put back into your marketing, especially if you're scaling and wanting to grow, and ultimately what is being a trigger for you to make those profits, and what kinds of costs are you willing to incorporate more of because of the value that it's bringing. So think about all of these attributions, all of these ways that we can score and track and measure what's going to happen and how it's working. What parts of the funnel are you weak in, right? Is it awareness? Is it brand building? Is it conversions, and why? What is it that's causing people not to click through to convert and buy from you? Are there things that you can do differently? Are there other metrics that you haven't thought of that maybe you could start tracking that could be a part of your overall goals for the next time around with the next iteration, right? We said marketing is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a long game, right? How are you going to continue to build and learn and grow based on your discoveries and insights and findings and things that you have come to know because of the clients that you are serving? What kinds of things have they told you about, right? So to wrap this all up, continue to execute, continue to take calculated risks, right? Continue to think about how you're going to get that return on your marketing investments in the campaigns that you're doing. Is it modifying things like the geographic regions? Are you going to replicate and duplicate what worked within one geographic area and then now expanding and growing into another area? And do you need to modify things for that new area, right? Oftentimes when we want to create a national campaign, we have to make sure that the things that are resonating well with people in a specific geographic area, they may not resonate well in another geographic area. Maybe the culture is different. Maybe the important factors or the key features that your product or service benefit are different in different areas. So looking at all of those things, seasonality, the culture and the types of people that you're targeting, and who's your primary, secondary, tertiary audiences that you want, and even subsets of those primaries, right? Thinking about ways that you can continuously improve, continuously get the right information in the right time, in the right way, that's going to continue to resonate, whether it's educational or informational or edutainment, as I like to call it. How can you ideally generate more revenue and ultimately more profits than what the cost is to acquire those customers? All right, with that said, let's get into the next interview. Thank you for following along in this series. We will be doing a lot more, so stay tuned for that. And now, your interview. Welcome to the Marketing Expedition podcast. I'm your host, Ray Allen. I'm the president and CEO of Peppershock Media and the founder of the Marketing Expedition community. And today's guest, we have Maxwell Nee with us. Welcome to the show, Max.
Thank you so much for having me, Ray.
So, Max, you're in Singapore now. What are you working on right now? What's like the hot topic, the hot item of something that is going through your brain on this day?
That's a really good question. So we have a mantra in our business that we want to force our clients to be successful. So we're always, tuning in and filtering through and focusing on what can we do to overservice our clients, even though we have very little contact with them, in a tech company. So that's definitely at the forefront of our minds.
Absolutely. And Max, why don't we share a little bit more about what it is that you do and kind of how you got to where you are now?
Yeah, good question. So I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of ScoreApp. ScoreApp is a quiz marketing platform with about 7,000 paying clients right now. And the clients look like 90% of them are coaches, consultants, authors, thought leaders, service providers. And what we do is we help them to generate highly qualified leads for their business, which then turn into sales. And we do that through a range of different options that they can, work with us for. And, I've been doing this for a while, and I've had a few different successful businesses and been in a whole bunch of publications like, Forbes and USA Today and TV shows and radio channels.
I think that you're definitely onto something, and people love taking quizzes, right? I mean, those polls and quizzes. What have you maybe wish you would have known that you know now when you very first started doing what you're doing?
Yeah. So, um, I look at other entrepreneurs that have done, bigger things than me or things that I want to do. And the common thread between all of them is that uh, very early on, um, they learned from another entrepreneur.
Mhm.
So, what I've really learned on this journey is that it doesn't matter what you do, if it's something that's new, that you haven't done before, and you've got no experience in it, whether that's building, you know, a real estate business or building a marketing business or building a tech business or building any type of business, is that there's going to be a learning curve to
Mhm.
before you're able to really, really hit it well. In my experience, the learning curve is typically, at least a year. Like you're very lucky if it's a year or more before things start to really work.
Mhm.
Um, and so I just really wish that everyone and myself, I had the option to jump into that learning curve, sort of fast lane,
Mhm.
with a good mentor as early as possible. And 'cause my friends that have done that, they did that before they turned 20. So, they learned everything they need to learn in terms of that sort of first year, 18 months, 2 years where you sort of really struggle in business.
Right. And that's really good advice for those that are listening that maybe are at the beginning stages, or they might be struggling a little bit. Reach out for advice, reach out for mentors, right? Other people who've been highly successful. And I love that advice. And it's so easy to just get wrapped up in the weeds and be so knee deep in everything that you're trying to work on, that actually pausing and taking the time to spend with somebody else that could give you good advice and encouragement along the way. That's really a good lesson learned for sure. Thanks, Max, for sharing. I want to dig in a little bit more into the Score app and explain to people, and obviously they're just listening right now, but if you could visualize and kind of paint the picture, and maybe also give us some success stories for those 7,000 clients that subscribe to what you do. I want to just share a little bit more about kind of the app and how it works, and maybe some things that people have gleaned from having worked with you in the app. What happened and how did they get the results that they were after?
Yeah, so we use and help people with quiz marketing. Quiz marketing is essentially getting your potential clients to fill out a online assessment, so that you can give them a piece of value. So a really common version of quiz marketing that everyone would have seen before, or they might have even done it, is the classic personal trainer quiz marketing, where you might see an
Mhm.
ad or you might see a lead magnet that says, you know, fill out this survey or fill out this form for me to
Mhm.
give you to personalize and diagnose your exact body type, based on your frame, small, medium, or large. I'll then recommend you the highest most effective solutions in nutrition and workouts for you to hit your
Oh, I'm
summer
totally
goals.
guilty. I'm totally guilty of
Yeah,
that. I've done that because I wanted to know, like, my body type or my, what kind of,
100%.
what all of those things. And you're right, people do spend time on that, and me included. So tell me more what happens as when people fill it out, that you get to capture their information and it's first party information, so that's good, right?
Yes, you get their information. They get a personalized experience, and there's a few reasons why it's compelling. So, obviously, like my body type might be different to yours, so I'm going to get
Mhm.
different recommendations. So it's a two-way personalized experience, and it's something that people want to receive. It's not something you have to like bend people's arms to get them to want to participate in. So what that actually looks like in terms of numbers is, a typical lead magnet, like a conversion event where you're turning like a listener or like a viewer or whatever
Mhm.
into someone that gives you their information, typically converts like 10-15%, whether that's like a free ebook, whether that is a discount code, whether that is a free ticket to an event or whatever. Um, but because this is a lot more compelling, what we found is conversion rates are typically between 20 to 40%, an average of 30. So you're looking at, at least double, if not triple, the amount of volume coming into your business, as well as having a lot of exactly what you say, first party data on them so that you can really tailor how you approach them.
And it's really incredible because now you've surveyed these people and now you've got so much more information about them than just an email, right? And a name. Now you can tailor exactly the responses based on the way that they, resulted and interacted in your quiz. I think it's genius.
Yeah, and so there's getting the numbers, like as many numbers as possible, like that conversion rate up. But then there's also a lot of clients that we have who have really, really high end products. They might be charging like $10,000 or more, and they actually don't want as many, a super
Mhm.
high number of volume. What they want is really, really high qualification.
Yeah.
So it also acts as a very, very strong filtering tool that weeds out, people that are less than interested, so that people can, focus more on who's ready and interested now, and increase their conversion rates.
Do you ever find that people start taking the quiz and then they kind of abandon ship? Does that happen a lot? Or do you think that people really focus? I mean, the start stop rates, does that something that you track? And is it, is there some things that you do to like mitigate that from happening, do you think?
Yeah, good point. So the part in the process that creates friction is when you ask someone for their information, right? So what I would
Mhm.
say is, if you want as many people as possible that are highly qualified, and you don't want, just your list to grow for the sake of it growing, then what you might want to do is you might want to ask for their contact information right at the front.
Mm,
So you
mhm,
set like a bit of a hurdle for them to even come in, so that that once they come through, that yeah, they're very seriously interested, right?
mm, mhm.
And you also might want to ask for their mobile number. People find giving their mobile numbers, you know, uh, a pretty high commitment if they want to give that to you to speak to you. But if you, let's say you're an earlier stage of business, or let's say your business has, a cheaper product, like you might sell like physical products, like you might be in the e-commerce game, you might sell things for like $50, $100, then you want volume, right?
Mm,
To get more people to fill out this score app, this quiz marketing, you might want to move uh, your contact form right to the end, because
mm,
what happens is that when people start filling it out, they slowly commit, 5%, 5%, 5% at
mhm.
a time, and then by the time they get to the end, they're like, okay, well, now I really want to know my results, because I answered some pretty interesting questions. Here's my contact information so that you can send them out to me.
Right, right. And everybody loves those assessments. I mean, personality assessments, skill assessments. I mean, there's endless possibilities of the types of quizzes that you can use, right? I mean, what are some of the types that you've done aside from the health industry? Like, what are some ideas that people could, absorb if they were to use your services? What kinds of things have you done before?
Yeah, so we've really done anything, uh, it works quite well for like people in finance. So like financial planners, mortgage brokers, like people that lend money for houses, accountants, find out how much you could borrow type of thing, find out, how much tax you could save this year, right?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then, what people forget is that this needs analysis um, process,
Mhm.
a lot of you go through it every time you go see a doctor, right? So when you go see a doctor, you say I'm sick, and they say what's wrong, and then you say I don't know. They step you through and say, okay, well, are you sleeping? Are you coughing? Do you have a fever? Do your eyes hurt? Is your throat dry? Right? And then
Mhm.
they diagnose and prescribe you the best medicine for you. So it's exactly that. So how interactive, how personalize that experience is. That's what we help all of our clients to give to their clients.
Wow, so many ideas are spinning in my head right now, like all the things that could happen with some of our clients too, and even us as an agency, right? I mean, that could be a wonderful way to get new leads for sure.
Yeah.
Now it's time for a message from one of our partners, Kitcaster. Did you know that podcasts are a great way to grow your personal and business brand? And Kitcaster is a podcast booking agency that specializes in developing real human connections through podcast appearances. We've had several guests from Kitcaster on the Marketing Expedition podcast as well. So if you're an expert in your field, have a unique story to share, or an interesting point of view, it's time to explore the world of podcasting with Kitcaster. You can expect a completely customized concierge service from their staff of communication experts. Kitcaster is your secret weapon in podcasting for business. Your audience is waiting to hear from you. Go to kitcaster.com/expedition to apply for a special offer for friends of this podcast. So speaking of marketing, what are some of the things, aside from being on this podcast, but what are some things that you have done to help grow ScoreApp to 7,000 users, aside from, being on a podcast, but like, tell me kind of what you've done for your own marketing.
Yeah, so as of right now, we've done everything. Like we did a lot of events at the beginning. Events, summits, things that people's email lists. We do a lot of podcasts because it works really well for podcasts.
Yeah.
Like when people listen to a podcast or people watch a video on YouTube, they're only engaging in one form, like which is one way communication. But to give them something to do, to give them an extra piece of value, to convert that to an email list, that works really well. So right now we're running 0 ads, and we have about 150 people registering for the free version of the app per day. And then
Nice.
a percentage of those, about 10% of those, 12% of those become paying clients. So, SEO, YouTube videos, and podcasts is working really well for us.
And the free trials, I mean, that's the argument there is, how long do you have it as a free trial and how much do you charge? And, if it's an annual, if it's a monthly, I mean, there's so many different tactics that people take in thinking about how your app is going to get out there in the world. And if you give, referral credits, or if, rewards for those who will share it with others, and all those types of things too. Do you do any kind of referral or rewards or affiliate, anything like that?
Yeah, 100%. So we have a pretty awesome affiliate program where people can earn, between 20 to 40% based on
Nice.
how many affiliates that they have of lifetime revenue. So, the longer they stay with us, the more that you get. And we have some affiliates that are earning like $400,000-500,000 a year.
Wow.
Um, yeah,
Sign me
yeah.
up. That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really impressive because sometimes, people set it and forget it and don't necessarily nurture it. But it sounds like you've done a really good job to reward those who reward you with more new business, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. So let's talk a little bit more about where you want to go from now, right? Looking into the future, where do you want to take ScoreApp and how do you want to get there?
Yeah, so we want to double the users probably in the next 12, 18 months or so. And the user base right now is it's very skewed towards Europeans. So like Europe, the UK. So we haven't even quite cracked open the whole opportunity in the US yet, or Canada.
Mhm.
And then also I'm based in Asia, so I'm in charge of really kicking the doors down and letting people know about us in Australia, Singapore, Malaysia.
And actually, that kind of brings up a good point about language differences, right? If you're writing in, different languages, can it just automatically adapt to the language that is the user's preferred language?
Uh, yeah, so you can use about 40 languages. Yeah. So we've set it up so you can use about 40 languages in ScoreUp. Yeah.
Very cool. That's good. Then you can truly expand into other areas and do that. How has the rules with, what you can and can't do with data, how has that really has that impacted your business at all? Or is it because you've, given people plenty of, yes, accept cookies kind of thing, or yes, accept, the rules? I mean, did that change how you had to do things at all when the rules kind of came down and it seems like more and more rules keep coming and getting in our way as marketers, but how is that changing things for you?
It doesn't change anything at all, because we, like as you said, are in the first party data
Yeah.
lane and directly. So once someone completes that, our slogan is more data, more sales, right? So it's all given up for a purpose, so that business owner can then help you out with, providing you a solution.
And actually, this is a really good solution because of those rules. Other people, can't just solicit people without their first party data now. And so this really does kind of tie in nicely with being able to be compatible with all of the different countries' rules about what you can and can't do. And this is it's a great tool, it seems like, that people can add on or augment into their entire funnel system and nurturing system and email system and all the things that you can do to continuously market to the people that you want to be as your clients, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you does it automatically integrate with other platforms to kind of carry on to the different stages that you go through, or does it have the email system embedded into it, or how does it work once that contact or once that data is secured? What happens next?
Yes, once that data is secured, everyone has the option to receive their results via an email. So it does send emails. You can't use it like Mailchimp to send emails constantly, but it does send some specific key ones. And then
Mhm.
what happens is that a lot of people use it as like a CRM because you have the email, you got phone numbers, you even have localized data. This person's based in New York or whatever else. And then we've also added I don't know what you call it. I think it's like a scraping tool that will say, okay, we think that this person is this person on LinkedIn, and then it'll try to find your LinkedIn and everything else because, the more data you've got in the one place, the easier it is. Yeah, yeah. And then,
Oh.
it does also plug into all the usual apps like Zapier, MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, a lot of them through native integrations. And then
Mhm.
obviously you have Zapier to API
Mhm.
into, pretty much anything.
Right. And Zapier's kind of pretty much become the gold standard of connecting all the webhooks together. So that seems like it would be an awesome tool to be able to connect into an existing system that you may already have. And does your team, do you help kind of build that funnel out, or is it more of a self-serve, like people just create these using the app, or do you have team members that kind of help a new client go through the process?
We have both, so we are definitely very hands-on. We
Mhm.
have weekly sessions where you jump on a webinar,
Mm,
like just like this, and have a conversation with
yeah,
someone, like a real person, at least once a week.
nice.
We have multiple webinars every other week. We also have, a partnerships page where we have like our own mini Upwork of people who know the app, are really, across
Oh,
it, and you're able to
mhm,
contact them to just, pay for a premium service through one of
mhm.
our clients if that's of interest.
Oh, nice. So then there's kind of the community supporting the community, and that's always helpful as well. And it seems
Yeah,
like you're adaptive and responsive if, you know, if you have beta testing, or, something that's coming up, or features that people want, or, want to communicate to say, "Hey, wouldn't it be great if we could do this or that or the other," right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome. I know sometimes when you get on apps and there's no support, it's so disappointing, but it seems like you and your team have really dialed in how to listen to your community, grow your community. And I know this because when you very first reached out to us, at the time you said, I think that there was like 5,000 users, and now just today when you were on, you said you have 7,000 users. So you've really kind of grown pretty rapidly, haven't you?
yeah. We're definitely we're definitely a big machine now. There's like 25 people in the team.
Good.
We're all totally 100% remote. We've got clients in, I think, almost 120 countries, and so that
Oh, wow.
compounds, pretty quickly. Yeah.
I love it. Well, if there's anything that I haven't covered that you would like to say, and I know you have a special something that you'd like to share, what can you share with us, Max?
Yeah, so we have a book that does two things really well. It helps you to understand what this is, how it works. It can be read in like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. It's very quick, and then it's also helps you to get set up, and start using this for your business. And we have a bunch of copies that I'd love to get out to anyone interested for free. And
Nice.
we also um, have a PDF copy if we run out of those as well. So all you need to do is go to ScoreApp, ScoreApp.com/book, and then we can get that out to you, and register there. We'll get that out to you.
Excellent. Excellent. And then tell us about the free trial. If people want to use the app, what do they need to do?
Yeah, well, if you just head to scoreapp.com, register on our homepage, we can get you going. Yeah, it's super easy. You don't even need to provide your credit card. So really, really easy.
Ooh, I like that. I do like that when people don't make you do it right away, or pay, or put your card in right away. That's nice.
Yeah,
Good
yeah, yeah.
tactic for sure. Well, Max, thank you so much for your time today and sharing all about the Score app and all of the fun lessons that you've learned, and advice that you've given others. Is there anything else that you'd like to share as we wrap up?
No, just thanks for having us on, and really enjoyed this conversation.
Excellent, Max. Well, thank you. And for those of you listening, the best thing that you can do for Max and I both is to share this with those that you know that may need what he is offering. And definitely go check out his book and the website and the free trial. I know I am going to. And then, of course, the other thing that you can do for us is give us a review on the podcast on Apple or Spotify or whatever it is that you're listening to. Right, Max? That's always important, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. And for those of you listening, thank you and enjoy your marketing journey. Until next time.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Expedition podcast. Want to continue the journey? Don't miss out on new episodes. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Wouldn't it be great if there was one place you can go to get all the latest information and tips about marketing and advertising? The Marketing Expedition community is that place. People like you gather in our online community to build relationships with others and find the latest marketing trends, tactics, tools, and technology. We help you build your brand and your bottom line. Start your adventure today. Visit themarketingexpedition.com to find out more.